Hey, just enjoying my latte this morning. I hope you have your coffee. Ah, welcome back. It's been a while. This is Monday Morning Cup of Joe, the leadership coffee clatch. And basically, what this comes from is that there's a group of us that get together and have coffee in the morning and talk about some of the things that are going on for us. Now, two of my colleagues are part of the group. One is a coach, a professional coach. He works with businesses. And then the other is more on par with me. She is an organizational psychologist and does a lot of different things. Me, I am an organization facilitator. So coaching is a part of my role, but the role of facilitator or to make things easy is much wider than that. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you because it really came up as a very interesting conversation that I had with the group. And I got a call recently from Kay, who is a kind of a manager with a large organization. And she has teams within her department, and each team has a team leader. You might call them a lead person or a supervisor or whatever you want to put, whatever title you want to put on them, but they run teams. And Kay called me up. She goes, Dave, one of the teams is having problems. The team leader is Lynette. Could you contact her? Sure. So Lynette and I got on to a Zoom together. And I said, hey, how are you doing? How are things going? Oh, not so good. What's going on? Right? Those are conversations that I get on a regular basis, but that's okay. It keeps me busy. I said, Lynette, tell me about what's going on. And she says, well, I run this production team and I've got this one employee, Clarence, who has longevity with the company, but he's very negative, very negative. I said, really? She goes, yeah, the team, not really happy with him. So what's going on? She says, well, we're looking at a specific problem that is impacting our productivity and our ability to serve other internal departments. And every time we try to explore alternatives, solutions, Clarence says, that's not going to work. That's a stupid idea. And he's really kind of shut the team down to the point where they just don't even feel like participating, or they want to vote him off the island. And I said, wow, interesting. Okay. Well, do you mind if I attend one of your meetings? And she said, sure. So on the team, she's got an engineer and she's got some other people that join via Zoom. So I figured I would just join via Zoom. And sure enough, things played out exactly as she said. They saw me on the screen, just a couple of them know me, and said, oh, okay, now, we can say we can do what we want to do. And Dave's going to defend us, right? So they go, okay, let's get back to exploring alternatives. How about this? And right on cue, Clarence is like, that's not going to work. And they all kind of like roll their eyes like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And you could see the disdain and the feeling of contempt among the team. And I was like, well, wait a second. Clarence, why won't this work? Well, we tried that a couple of years ago, and this is what happened. It actually had a downstream ripple that impacted our internal customers and ultimately impacted the external customer. So that idea won't work. Good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. that does give us a better understanding of the problem. Clarence, do you have any ideas on how we might be able to solve this problem? And Clarence sits back, folds his arms, and goes, "Thank you for asking." So I kind of got from his sarcastic response that he'd been sitting on that team for a while and nobody had solicited any ideas from Clarence. So he was feeling like the outcast. Now, there's another dynamic going on here. Clarence, in fact, is the oldest member of the team. I've heard a few people say, "Gosh, I can't wait until he retires." That's how long he's been with the team and where he is within the organization. We have to be very careful about our biases. We can't make assumptions. Because the nature of the problem was technical, they all assumed that, well, Clarence is old. What would he know about technology? Well, they were way off, because Clarence was one of the people who actually brought the technology into the organization early on. So I said, "Clarence, do you have any ideas?" And after his, sarcastic response, he said, "Well, this is what I think is really going on. And the answer could be as simple as XYZ." And he went into, an explanation and how it could be implemented. And I think several people on the team had, their mouths were open. They were in awe of, he speaks. And not only does he speak, but he's helping the team. Well, yeah. I don't think Clarence wanted to be negative just to be negative. He wanted to be acknowledged, and not only acknowledged, but appreciated. Because when he was done, I said, "Clarence, thank you. That level of experience and history is exactly what we need. Really appreciate it." You see, negative people, when maybe pulled out on the carpet, oftentimes want to contribute, but for whatever reason, they've been shut down. And so they don't. They may show up as being very negative in terms of, that'll never work and that's a stupid idea. But nobody took the effort to drill down a little bit deeper, hold him accountable and say, "Tell me more." Look, we learn more by listening to those who have experience, whether it's within the organization or outside the organization, a previous employer. Look, none of us are as smart as all of us. And it's a team leader's responsibility to make sure that we draw that information out, that experience out, that gold out of the team. Now, look, some cultures or some individuals are very shy. We have to be careful not to call them out on the carpet and have them talking among the group. Now, long-term established groups, this doesn't really seem to be a problem over time. But if you sense somebody is timid or feels uncomfortable in getting up in front of the group, talk to them outside the group and say, "Hey, I noticed in there, it looked like you had something that you wanted to share. Talk to me about that." And allow them to elaborate. Now, look, Clarence could have been just a stick in the mud, and we would probably have to talk about, look, part of your job is to support the team. That's part of how you are evaluated. And that area of your evaluation is not going to look good. And it could impact a cost of living increase or something along that line, a step increase. So sometimes when we capitalize on the devil's advocate, right? We exploit them in a good way, in a way that now, quite honestly, Clarence now feels like he's a part of the team. And Kay said, yeah, the team's even thinking of making him the next team leader because they revolve that role throughout the group. Let's not take people at face value. Let's be curious. Let's be inquisitive. And through that conversation, we'll identify whether they're genuine or, they're maybe feeling like a victim at some level, and draw them out and let them know, hey, look, no, we do appreciate you. We do value you. We do want your input. Look, if your team is going to really be the epitome of teamwork, that means that everyone is requested to participate, expected to participate. Now, look, with this particular situation, Clarence, right, up here, it may be that that devil's advocate is not just a member of your team. It could be another department. It could be management. It could be an internal customer or supplier, or even an external customer or supplier. The key here is that we need to ask questions and listen to the answers. So the next time you run into a personality that, well, you kind of butt heads, in this dynamic, if you take your head out of it, there's no resistance. If you replace that with respect and curiosity, you might find that your devil's advocate might be your next team leader too. So anyway, I got to finish up this cappuccino before it gets cold. I hope you enjoy your coffee this morning, and I will see you in the future on another episode of Monday Morning Cup of Joe. Cheers.